Before we begin, let me ask you a simple question. Did you grow up believing the King James Bible is the most accurate Bible ever written? If yes, tell me in the comments. I want to see something. Because what you're about to hear will completely change how you see the KJV. The King James Bible did not fall from heaven. It did not descend untouched. It did not escape politics. In fact, the more you study its history, the more you realize something uncomfortable. The KJV was shaped by royal power, political fear, and translation rules designed to control the church. Stay with me. The last part of this video will genuinely surprise you. Before the KJV existed, the Geneva Bible was the most popular translation. People loved it, scholars respected it, and early Protestants depended on it. But King James hated it. Why? Because the Geneva Bible had notes warning believers about corrupt rulers. It criticized kings. It encouraged resistance to tyranny. Let me ask you this. Do you think a king would ever tolerate a Bible that teaches people to challenge him? Yes or no? Tell me in the comments. King James didn't tolerate it. He banned the Geneva Bible entirely and ordered a new translation that would protect royal authority. That translation became the King James Version. Now this is the part churches rarely talk about. King James gave the translators 15 strict rules. They were not allowed to translate freely. They had to obey the king. Here's the rule that exposes his agenda. Rule number 3. The old ecclesiastical words must be kept. This means the translators were forced to use church-friendly words, even when the original Hebrew or Greek said something completely different. For example, ecclesia means assembly, but the king demanded it be translated as church. Why? Because the word assembly empowers people, but the word church empowers institutions. Another rule, no margin notes. Why ban notes? Because the Geneva Bible used margin notes to teach people critical thinking. A king cannot control people who can think for themselves. If this is new to you, type "I didn't know." Here is something most Christians never realize. The Jewish Bible, the Tanakh, ends with Chronicles, but the King James Bible ends with Malachi because Christians interpret Malachi as pointing to Jesus. That was a choice, a structural decision. The KJV was arranged to create a smooth bridge into the New Testament, even though that is not how the original Hebrew scriptures are structured. So ask yourself this: should a translation change the structure of a sacred text? Tell me your answer. Some people claim the King James Bible is closest to the original. But today, with modern manuscript comparison tools and advanced text analysis, scholars can directly compare ancient documents. And here's the truth. The KJV translators did not have the best manuscripts. They did not have the Dead Sea Scrolls. They did not have Codex Sinaiticus. They did not have Codex Vaticanus. They relied on later medieval copies and on the flawed Textus Receptus. So here's the question. If a translation is based on weaker manuscripts, can it honestly claim to be perfect? Tell me what you think. Now, this next part irritates a lot of Christians. Jewish scholars, the guardians of the original Hebrew tradition, reject the King James Bible entirely. One Jewish scholar once said, "The King James Bible is not a translation of the Hebrew Scriptures. It is a Christian commentary on them." Strong words, but historically accurate. So let me ask you this. If the people who preserve the Hebrew text reject the KJV, why do Christians defend it so fiercely? I want to see your thoughts.
Most people don't defend the KJV because of manuscript evidence. They defend it for emotional reasons. It sounds holy. It feels poetic. It's what my church uses. It's what my parents used. But beauty is not accuracy. Tradition is not evidence, and poetry does not equal truth. So here's the final question I'll leave you with. Should tradition outweigh manuscript evidence? Drop your answer below. Everything you've heard in this video points to one reality. The King James Bible is powerful, it is poetic, it is influential. But influence is not the same thing as originality, and reverence should never replace examination. If this made you think differently, follow this channel, not for answers, but for the questions most people never ask.